Welcome. You're watching Channel 9, Fairfield Public Access Television in Fairfield. I'm here today at the McElhinney House with Martha Rasmussen. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Judith Hall. Welcome.
Thank you.
What are your positions with the McElhinney House?
I, at the present time, am not holding any position. I am a past president of the Women's Club.
Okay. Okay.
At the present time, I'm treasurer for the Women's Club.
Right. So we're at the historical McElhinney House in Fairfield, a treasure to our community. And the Fairfield Women's Club are the caretakers of this wonderful facility. I say it's a treasure for Fairfield because it is a treasure, but a lot of people in our community don't know everything about the McElhinney House, how it's got its name, the history, and so we want to share some of that with you. When was it built?
It actually was started, the house was started in 1846, and it was not actually completed until 1851. So it's, definitely one of the older, if not one of the oldest homes in Fairfield.
And I know this is one of the original settlements right around in this area of Fairfield, so it makes sense to me now, looking at some of the history. This house was built, and it was built by that family?
Yes. It was built by the McElhinney family, and actually it was the McElhinney home. And eventually, of course, Elizabeth McElhinney gave $10,000 to the Women's Club, and with the request that they purchase the family home. And so it was purchased for the Women's Club, and actually the very first meeting of the club was in September of 1933. So, it has an amazing history that I think many people don't know.
Yes, that's a long time. And there are a lot of things that still go on today in this home.
That's right. The home is used by various clubs for their meetings, Christmas parties, organization parties, receptions such as anniversary receptions, wedding receptions. It makes a lovely, homey atmosphere for family reunions, even when perhaps the family member might not have a large enough home to accommodate everyone. So there are a vast variety of uses and groups that can take advantage of the facility.
It is. We're sitting in what room do you call it?
I think I'd call it the living room.
The living room. And I wonder if it was always this size.
That I would honestly hesitate to say. I would rather doubt that it was, because, in most of the homes, the rooms were much smaller in those days. So whether or not there might have been a center divider or something like that, it's hard to say. But I think the nice thing about it is that many people don't realize that, first of all, the Women's Club is open to any woman in Fairfield. And, membership is not exclusive. You don't have to be invited to be a member. And, it's the dues, of course, as well as all the projects that help support the home.
Right. So tell me, you're new in town and you want to become involved and you find out about the Women's Club. What would you do?
We have a meeting from September through May, the third Wednesday of every month here at the McElhinney House. And basically, a lot of women in Fairfield are members. Some are more active than others, but everyone is welcome to come. It's a luncheon. It's a 12 o'clock luncheon, and then there's always a very interesting program following lunch. And so it's usually from, I would say, 12 until 2:30. And as I say, it's a wonderful way to meet people in the community.
It sounds like it, and I'm sure it's for all ages.
Yes, it is. We have very young members, clear up to older, senior citizen age members. So there's a wide variety of ages, and I think that's what makes it interesting and fun, because you can learn a lot from just getting to know people that maybe you haven't known, and maybe they're a few years older than you are, or several years older. It's just amazing how your life can be enriched by getting to know them. And
Right, and I think you have different interest groups. You have what, book club and garden club?
yes, we do. There are 4 departments, I believe. Martha, is that right? The garden department, the literature department, the music department. Who am I forgetting? And the bridge group.
And the bridge group. Okay, so that's a lot of different activities and interests for you to come and participate in and share. And like I said, the Women's Club is also the caretakers of this home, and you do a lot of fundraisers too.
We definitely do a lot of fundraisers. In fact, there's one that will be coming up on Election Day, which has really gotten to be, I think, a wonderful tradition. Hopefully it gets people out to vote, and then they can come to the McElhinney House and have lunch afterwards. They have soup and pie, and again, it's a wonderful gathering place, but it's fun because people can get to the polls and then come and have lunch, and they've supported the McElhinney House. And then, of course, we have, other things. We will be having the Christmas pilgrimage, which comes up the first Saturday in December. And that's one of our major fundraisers because there are 4 houses that will be open for people to tour. And also, of course, the Bonneville Cabin is going to be open.
That will be
And,
really nice, because that's another place that people, I don't think I have ever been in the Bonneville Cabin, and that's at Waterworks Park.
It's at Waterworks Park, and of course, needless to say, Mark Schaefer has some of his students stringing popcorn for the old-fashioned Christmas tree, and there are 2 Quester antique groups, and they've been trying to help Mark along the way. And so there'll be people stationed at the Bonneville Cabin in dress from Scott Schlecta's props department. So I think it sounds like it's going to be a fun Saturday. And of course, people should come to the McElhinney House because there will be, there are door prizes, and we will have tables of place settings for people to enjoy seeing, maybe get some ideas for themselves.
There's
And
always baked goods.
There's wonderful baked goods, frozen casseroles, and there's a lot, the first Saturday in December.
And that is always a big event. And FPAC tries to tape a tour of a preview show of one of the homes. I'm not sure which one we'll do this year, but you'll hear more about that later. Any other fundraisers? I know you do Trash and Treasures event.
And there's a spring luncheon that is in April, I believe. And usually casseroles and salads are featured at that luncheon. And again, it's just a good way to support the Women's Club for the upkeep of the McElhinney House, and it's an opportunity for a very good lunch. We have very good cooks and always have good casseroles and salads, and just
Won't go away hungry.
And I think it's really wonderful because actually the members do, are asked to bring, a salad or a casserole or something like that. So there's a tremendous variety of food. And as you say, no one will leave hungry. That's for certain.
So, also, we should mention that you have a catering service that I know the Kiwanis Club meets here every Wednesday evening, and they have a meal, and later we'll go in the other room and we'll do a tour of the facility, and you have someone that lives upstairs that takes care of?
We do. We're very fortunate. We have an in-house person who lives upstairs, and she does the basic cleaning and maintenance of the house. And then we do have a caterer, and of course anyone who would like to make a reservation to use the house, that if for any reason she's not available to answer the phone, we do have an answering machine. And so you can leave the information on the answering machine, and someone will get back to you to, book the date and determine, the number and what you need and things like this. So, as I say, considering, the facilities that we don't have available in Fairfield, I think it's a real treasure to have this.
It certainly is. The McElhinney House is it's in our new cultural district in Fairfield, right across from the courthouse, just down in between Howard Park, where they have the farmers market, and my goodness, you can vote here and then come to the dinner after for the election day. And when the Civic Center's built, you'll be able to have functions here, like previews and receptions. And recently, I was at a wedding shower here for my daughter-in-law. And so it was very nice. I think there were probably too many people for a home, and we met here, and it was really nice. So think about the McElhinney House when you're planning an event, whether it be a family event or a small group or a larger group. It is a treasure and a wonderful place, and the upkeep, I can't imagine. I was sitting here looking around saying, it looks like it's in really good shape, but I know Martha said it takes a lot to keep it up.
Well, I think anyone who lives in an older home knows that maintenance is continual. I mean, even our newer homes, maintenance is continual. But,
And-
there's always need for, there's a roofing project, or there's a foundation project, or something's happened to the furnace. And of course, with the kitchen being in use, there's always, again, a need for a different refrigerator, a different freezer, the dishwasher goes bad. I mean, all these kind of things when it is in use. And so all of those things, because they're a bit more institutional, are even a bit more expensive than, just even one that you can go out and purchase for your own home. And so, as I say, there it is. We do also have, I might point out, we have a McElhinney House Foundation, which has really been, I think, beginning to get well established. And it's a wonderful way if, someone who's been in the community and you want to do a memorial gift, it doesn't necessarily have to be at a time of death. It can be any time, but you can make a nice gift to the McElhinney House Foundation. And it is not used other than for major maintenance projects. I mean, in other words, it's not like saying, well, it just goes for, general upkeep, that we only use it if it's absolutely necessary. And we have a wonderful group of individuals on the foundation board who oversee the investments. And so I guess I encourage anyone who wants to make a gift, for someone or, just to help the McElhinney House.
Yes, and they are tax deductible. It's getting near the end of the year, whether it be a Christmas gift, honorarium birthday gift. It's a great way to be recognized. I know I would like a gift like that to give to the McElhinney House here in Fairfield. Recently, a carriage house was built.
Yes, that was constructed last year, and it also was intended to be functional there's a nice patio attached, so graduation parties or family gatherings again during the summer months when you want to be outside and enjoy the outdoors, it would certainly fill that need. And so we would encourage people to think about the carriage house at the McElhinney House if they are looking for a place for graduation parties or picnics and that type of thing during the nice weather during the summer months and spring and summer and fall.
Yes, I was reading the little sheet that Mel Vidal put together for us on information, and I hadn't even thought about the carriage house area to be used for an outdoor party, but the grounds now are, I don't know if this is the garden club.
It is. I was just going to say, I think the garden club really needs recognition because those women have worked incredibly hard at seeing that, the area around the house and out to the carriage house and things have been, absolutely most attractive during the summer months.
I think such a big improvement over the last several years, and it is beautiful out there. I could see wedding taking place out there, and even the street projects going on. I know it was a mess and probably awful for you this summer with all the streets torn up, but it looks like everything's new and perfect with the curbs and the streets and the parking. Big, big improvement, and it just connects the McElhinney House with this downtown area in such a nice way. It's so attractive that I hope more people want to use it.
Well, I think, it it just is really a charming older home. I mean, when you look at the windows that come almost down to the floor, and just some of the little features that still, have been able to be retained, that it makes a wonderful place for functions. And I know I belong to several groups that meet here, and it's wonderful in the evening because a lot of times I think, when we go to homes at night, it's difficult for people, parking is not always easy. And especially, if you belong to a group that has a few of the older members, it's very difficult to climb stairs and, navigate through strange territory. And so we really use the McElhinney House frequently for some of our meetings in the evening. And it works out wonderfully well. There's parking and, it's a very useful facility.
It is. So if someone wants to use it, they should call. They have to plan ahead. Is there a charge?
There is a charge for using the McElhinney House. It's listed in the phone book as far as the number is concerned under McElhinney House, 472-3241. And then from there, it depends upon what the numbers are and what type of provisions you want to make in terms of, food and catering and things like that in terms of the charge. But yes, that helps replace the carpet or replace the, upholstery, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Well, this is such a beautiful facility, and we're going to take you on a little tour, so we'll take a little break and reset our camera. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Martha, we're still in the living room of the McElhinney House. We're standing by this gorgeous piano.
Yes, isn't it a beautiful piano? Well, it's really nice because oftentimes several of the clubs that meet here, do involve music. And so as a result, it's wonderful to have the piano. And when we do have meetings here, of course, we set up folding chairs. And so it's an ideal room. I mean, it will hold, certainly easily 35 to 40 people. And still, we have the podium for the president to use. And as I say, it really, the room works out beautifully. But it is a wonderful piano. And again, belongs in the living room.
Yes, and it was a gift at one time donated, as I'm sure several things in this room were donated. I know some of the artwork, and I know you probably have to rotate some of the artwork because I know you have some treasures, some Shriners, and
we definitely do. And the art is changed. And then, of course, when we have the Christmas pilgrimage, oftentimes we will have tables, smaller tables set up in this room for our place settings, our table settings that we display for the Christmas house tour.
yes. Decorating. When was the last time this room was decorated?
Well, I'm not certain that I can tell you. We do it kind of by bits and pieces because, needless to say, it's not like our homes in the sense that it would be wonderful to be able to do, the upholstery and the carpet and everything all at the same time. But when it begins to kind of look a little woe-begone, then something gets changed. So, as I say, that it's been a few years, to be very honest, since anything has been, attack. And so far, our drapes seem to be looking very good. And,
Those aren't your typical drapes either. They're probably special made, special ordered.
well, and because of the fact that they really do need to be lined, and, they're a heavier drape, so they are, and because of the windows being long and in length, that it all, as I say, it all ends up being expensive. And we don't like to have it look like people have just contributed a table that they didn't need or something. So
Right. And I noticed there's a beautiful old fireplace there. I'm sure that one isn't used.
no, unfortunately the fireplace really can't be functional as far as our insurance and things like that are concerned. It really would, and that's one of the wonderful things about having an in-house person. That helps a great deal rather than having the house vacant, other than for organizations.
And why don't we just, we'll have our cameraman swoop over here by this fireplace that we're talking about. And so the decorations for the different seasons, the Women's Club always does the decorations at Christmas time. It will be beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. The fireplaces, and of course we have a Christmas tree which comes forth with, ornaments and things. So again, the different departments are very, very good about helping with certain projects within the house. So that will all be taken care of prior to the Christmas holiday.
Okay, and we'll give our cameraman a break and we'll go in the other room. We're looking at the several plaques on the wall. We're now in the dining room.
Mm-hmm.
And these plaques list all the presidents of the Women's Club through the years. And we were saying what a treasure some of those names are. All those names are treasures.
Well, I think, there are some really special people that over the years have worked very long and hard with the Women's Club. And so it's really kind of nice to kind of go stop and review some of those names from time to time and think about those individuals. So as I say, it is really nice.
Right.
And, again, it's a job. I mean, I really admire, at the present time, Jan Hunneros, because, she not only heads the Women's Club, but the music department, and of course, how many times we hear her at various programs and things like that. The lessons she gives, the things she does, I marvel at her. I mean, she really is a treasure at the present time in the Women's Club.
And it's nice for someone to always step forward to carry that out in our community, the leadership that it takes. And so we're in this dining area, and this is where the Kiwanis Club will meet, and another piano, another fireplace, and lots of tables and chairs. Do you know how many can be seated in?
I honestly can't answer you, Susan. The tables are wonderful because, of course, they do have leaves, and especially the rectangular tables behind us here do have leaves, and so depending on what the circumstance might be, that sometimes the leaves are in, sometimes the leaves are out. And so, as I say, but as you can see, it's a very good-sized room, and it works really well. And, of course, with the kitchen at the opposite end, why it makes serving possible and works, very, very nicely. Number-wise, I hesitate to really tell you because, as I say, it depends a little bit on the, placement of the tables.
But it is very comfortable, and I'm sure they have linens that they can bring out.
We definitely do. That's always been one of our problems because the oval dining tables are especially large, and so several people have been very gracious and have donated table linens to the club house because, again, they're not the standard size. They're wider than most of our table linens are today.
Right. So I have to, being an artist, I have to mention over here, I believe, let's see, these are Wilson's, original Wilson's oils, a Fairfield artist from what, the 1920s?
20s, I believe.
Got to be very well known in the Midwest, and these are wonderful selections that we have here of his work.
I think that they really, again, enhance the rest of the house, the decor of the house, should we say, very much so.
Yes, and it's nice that Fairfield artist from that era is hanging in the McElhinney House. It adds to it, for sure.
Very appropriate.
Oh my goodness, I am noticing the third fireplace.
Yes.
I wonder how many fireplaces are in the house.
Well, I don't believe there are any upstairs, to the best of my knowledge, but I'm not really certain. The upstairs rooms, in times gone by, we used to always have fashion shows here in September. And so because of being involved, of course, in women's ready-to-wear, that was always one of the things that was very interesting because the models dressed in the upstairs and came down the stairs and through the dining room and into the living room and then back up the stairs to readily change their clothes and enter again. So, as I say, and I'm not certain, there may be at least one fireplace in that south room upstairs, but...
Well, and let's walk back here to the kitchen area, and there is a hallway with a large area for coats.
There's a very nice bathroom facility. We have a very nice bathroom facility in the hallway, and so, as I say, that it was refurbished and, I guess I would just say completely redone probably a few years ago, but it's very pleasant. So there is a very nice restroom facility.
Okay, and then back here is the kitchen area, and you can see we have a poster there for the soup and pie luncheon coming up on Election Day.
Absolutely.
So be sure and vote, and we're making our cameraman follow us back here, and maybe we need to turn on a light or two. it looks like a really nice working kitchen. A little bit of everything that you need here as we scurry around to find the lights. I think maybe we're okay.
You think we have
Yeah, we have good lighting. So we've got,
I think one of these could be the disposal.
we don't want to do that.
That's the reason I'm hesitating. See, I thought.
So I'll come back here. Looks like we have nice refrigeration.
Yes, we do. These are some of the expenses that, as I say, really, we appreciate so much, people's help and financial contributions to the McElhinney House, because we have really improved this tremendously. And it's nice because when we do frozen casseroles, they can be done and in the freezers, and then when we have the benefit, whatever timing it is, we can, have them done. And a lot of times the women will come here and work and make the casseroles. And, so there's a nice kitchen facility to do that with more counter space than many of our homes have.
Right, nice island here with a sink, 2 sinks, and dishes. There are dish services.
We do.
Lots of glasses.
Yeah, we definitely do. So, as I say, it's definitely, it's an institution in a sense, because we do have adequate, and
Fully equipped for catering events here at the McElhinney House.
once again, it seems like there's always a need for, we don't have a number, we may need more soup bowls, or we may need more salad plates, or it's just like everything else. There's a certain amount of, I hate to say breakage, but a certain amount of things that somehow, need to be replaced.
Of course. So, this is the kitchen. Tell me who this is.
This is Elizabeth McElhinney, and of course she's the one who really felt strongly about seeing her home preserved and feeling that the Women's Club would take care of it. And so despite the fact she gave the $10,000, which in those days was a lot of money.
I'm sure that was a lot of money.
Today, someone would say $10,000. What did she expect? But little did they realize how much $10,000 was at the time it was gifted to the Women's Club.
Yes, that was a lot. And then moving up, another family member.
Yes, it is. Those are her parents. That, as I say, she was an amazing woman, evidently. And, of course, unfortunately, prior to my time, thank goodness.
Yes. Someday they'll look back at us and say that.
Exactly, Susan. We'll be, can you believe that someone knew them?
Okay, and we're going to head outside. Well, Martha, thank you very much. And Judith Hall, who did have to leave quickly for an appointment. But thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for doing this, Susan. I mean, we just hope that it does make people aware of the facility and all the things that the Women's Club has to offer to the community.
Yes, it's a wonderful home in Fairfield, downtown, on Court Street, across from the courthouse, the McElhinney House, our Fairfield treasure. We hope that you'll help use it and preserve it for our future generations.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.